Guinea supplies over a quarter of the world's bauxite. Bauxite is a raw material used in making aluminium, and aluminium is used in planes, in cars, in phones, in power lines. So imagine how important aluminium is. Yet Guinea does not produce aluminium at scale. It exports the rocks and then other countries take it from there. You see, bauxite is not valuable on its own. It is what comes after that is very valuable. So you have bauxite, the raw material, is transformed into alumina, and then from alumina is transformed into aluminium, and then it is aluminium that is used in industries and factories to create jobs, to create technology, to make cars, planes, and all these things. So Guinea stops at stage one. They mine the bauxite. That is all. And then you wonder why Africa is so poor. I mean, granted, these things, they have been happening for decades. And even when they began to happen, Guinea had no idea what those rocks could do. Granted. But at some point, you have to decide to make a change. So the bauxite in Guinea is controlled by Chinese firms, multinational mining companies, and joint ventures, where Guinea owns very, very little processing power. And why is this? You may wonder. You see, aluminium production requires massive electricity, and then long-term industrial planning. And of course, you also have to control your exports, your mining and your exports. You also need protectionist policies. In the early stages, Guinea has almost none of this. You see, Africa was never encouraged to build these things. You see, massive electricity. You can't do that kind of thing in a country where there are power outages. That doesn't even make any sense. So that means the first thing you have to do is actually work on your electricity, which most of Africa, by the way, is still working on up till now. Africa was not encouraged to build these things. Instead, the contracts were written, of course, for extraction, for exploitation, just rinse and repeat over and over and over again. This is what keeps Guinea dependent. When Guinea exports raw bauxite, what do they get? They get cents on the dollar, they create very few skilled jobs, and it builds little to no industrial ecosystem. When others process it, what happens? They build factories, they have trained engineers, they stabilize their currencies, and they dominate the supply chains. This is why Africa grows GDP but has no economic power. We are too dependent. Raw materials don't build nations. Industries build nations. Simple and short. You see, Guinea's options are not theoretical. Practical solutions include mandating local processing. If you look at it, it's the same thread, because these things, they are like what you have to do. Mandate local processing. Of course, there will be things that would cause these things to be very slow, but it is part of the work. If you do not do the work, nothing is going to happen. Another thing is regional energy cooperation. Same thing like before. Regional cooperation. We must unite as Africans. I spoke earlier about Zambia and Congo. This is also something that can be done. Partner with somebody. If you cannot do it alone, partner with somebody. The state will frustrate whoever it is that tries to do these things. You see, Guinea's bauxite story is Africa's story. The continent does not lack resources. Again and again, we all know this. The continent does not lack resources. What the continent lacks is control. We lack control over the value that we have. And it's unfortunate. You see, until Africa finishes what it starts, others will finish it for us. And when they finish it for us, what happens? They will keep the profits. When they keep the profits, what happens? Africa remains poor. That's the story of Africa. So until we do something about it, we're not leaving the woods, man. Until next time.